Guys, I come before you today with perhaps the best release of 2025. Now, we still got a few more months to go, but without question, this will be in the top three. And currently, it reigns supreme as the number one release I've come across in 2025. Strap up, we got to talk about it.
Okay, for two. I watch that head move side to side as I let this in into the room. You are on top, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. From the house of day 3, we have Desert Rain. I'm not going to make love to the track right now. We'll save room for that later. But for those of you who don't know, I live across the street from this boutique. And it's quite miraculous that that's the case because there are almost no independent houses in Arizona. We do have Neiman's, we have Saks, we have Bloomingdale's, we have your normal retailers. We've got your rack stores, but it's very rare that you see a house, let alone an independent house in Arizona. And this is the first that I've seen in person. And so I was there on opening day. I was the first person there. And I met the perfumer, Michael Paul, and his lovely wife, and we hit it off. At the time that I went into this boutique, I had already tried the entire line, and I wasn't even aware that this house was located literally down the street. I could probably walk there from here. And so that was cool. Now, let me just disclaimer this video by saying that my rating of this fragrance, my opinion about this fragrance, and everything you're about to hear, there's no fluff and no gas. I have never been endorsed by a company. I have never been given free bottles. And I have no intentions of giving you guys anything other than the absolute truth and my opinion on this fragrance. And the people at day 3 know this. I'm very authentic, and you guys know this because over almost 800 videos into my channel, I've given you guys nothing but the raw and the real. I don't speak about fragrances I don't have right in front of me and have spent good time with. And the authenticity of my channel means a lot to me. It's all that I have, and it's all that I care about. Now, all that out the window. I had already smelled the entire line before I went into this boutique, and throughout the opening of the boutique, I've been able to spend every other week or so since they've opened exploring the house even further from a bottle standpoint. It's very different, surprisingly, that when you have a decant, it doesn't always tell the full story because the fragrance doesn't dissipate and transition the same when coming out of a giant atomizer versus the tiny little testers. Same thing with the relationship between a test strip and skin, how that can be different. But I'm very familiar with every fragrance in this house, every single one. So I could thoroughly tell you that this is the best fragrance in the house to me personally. Number 1, because it's the most versatile. And number 2, because it is just a special, unique one-of-one scent that, despite the fact that the rest of the fragrances in the house are based on unique memories and vibes and culture, specifically from the Dominican Republic, this one stands out to me as the most special. Let's get an initial thoughts on this. In being in the boutique, I've learned a lot from Michael in terms of their process from start to finish when it comes to creating a perfume. And this house simply checks all the boxes. They care. Every single release that comes out, they will take whatever time is necessary to make something that is very unique in the marketplace, has the highest ethical standards and creativity standards for just making something that has incredible raw materials, perfect balance, generally the ability to be unisex, though I find this one to be the most masculine leaning in the line in terms of it being decisively masculine if you chose to wear it. Now, I do think women could absolutely rock this, and I do think it is truly a perfectly unisex fragrance, But I also feel like, unlike the rest of the fragrances from the line, if you smelled this on a man, you would think it was a masculine fragrance. And if you smelled it on a woman, you would feel like it is a unisex fragrance. That's how I feel. Nonetheless, let's get into the test strip. Actually, let's apply this on skin. We need to. I don't need to, but I will need to for you guys. And right away, if you've never smelled a day 3 fragrance, the projection, the performance, and the longevity is 11 out of 10 across the board. They will always check those boxes. They do have fragrances that have smaller projections and smaller sillages, but they all have this north of 8-hour longevity on skin. So that is amazing to know that no matter what fragrance you like, you never have to worry about performance. The projection style is also very luxurious no matter which perfume you get. You always feel like you have a niche fragrance, and you do. The raw materials, the box presentation. I'm not going to show you guys how the package is and the bottle and all that jazz. Just know it's professional, it's high level, and your fragrance looks luxurious sitting on your shelf. Okay, initial impressions. There are seemingly kind of 2 fragrances that stand out to me that this gives me the vibe of. Not necessarily smells like, though it can. I'm mainly talking about the feeling in the air due to the smell. I get slight touches of the luxuriousness and masculine cleanliness of Oud Wood from Tom Ford. But more importantly, the vibe in the tint and the mood of this fragrance is very much Acqua di Gio Profumo, which is my absolute favorite, though this fragrance is not marine aquatic. It has the kind of somewhat mineralic gust of air from the earth, cactus blossomy, sparkly, and even a bit of incense, but the incense here is due to, I believe, frankincense, is it? Or myrrh? One of the two. But it is just a beautiful scent, almost like a luxurious, slightly sweet, slightly mineralic, slightly floral, slightly green, sparkling water. It smells like rain. It smells much better than rain. It will be reminiscent and give you the vibe and the connection to the name, but it is so much more than rain. If you think you're going to get a fragrance where you're going to smell it and it smells like rain, I hate to say it, but that is such an undervaluing of this fragrance. The sparkle and finish on the top, the dry down, the nuts and bolts of the fragrance, the backbone, the spine, the heart of this fragrance. There's so much beauty in it. What I love about Michael Paul is he can create niche fragrances with the complexity and the balance to feel expensive and luxurious, but make it mass appealing. Things that people want to wear all the time. And again, I think this fragrance out of the entire line is the most wearable, the most amount of time. To me, this is dumb reach, everyday wear. It can go casual. It can go upscale casual. It can go date night. It can go nightlife. It can go semi-formal, and it can go formal. It is clean, but sparkly and luxurious, and a lot of depth within its simplicity. It's a fragrance you will always bring back to your nose. Always bring your arm to your nose. It has a beautiful projection. I will say with this fragrance, you must apply a lot of it in the realm of, to me, 8 to 10 sprays minimum. Why? Because truly with 8 to 10 sprays, it will go all day. If you start to spray 4 to 6, it will give you a typical maybe 6 hours strong. But I find once I go up to that 8 to 10 hour range and I make sure that most of it is on skin, I can literally smell it the next day. It isn't monstrous and nuclear, but it is very projective, lots of sillage, and lots of longevity. It is quietly powerful, is the best way to describe it. Now, I can still go on about this fragrance and make love to the track, but I don't want to yet. This is a collaboration with Colton Dixon. He is an American singer-songwriter. He was a finalist on the singing show, America's Got Talent, or one of those shows, I forget. And he's a really good singer, and he's all over the radio. And this fragrance was in collaboration with a song he created called Build a Boat. And so Desert Rain is supposed to be kind of in the mix of that story. If you guys want to hear more of details about that, I have probably the only personal review out with Michael Paul, the perfumer, where he briefly talks about some important things you guys would want to know about Day 3 fragrances, who they are as a company, what they do, the thought and energy and time and composition of this fragrance, as well as some mentions about the discovery set, which I also need to mention because you can try every fragrance from the house of Day 3, and whatever the price is of the discovery set, which has been going up because they keep adding their new releases to the discovery set. So at one point it was $35, then it was $40. It may even go up to $45 or $50 now that 2 new releases have been added to the set. So let's just say hypothetically they're at $40 for their discovery set right now. That will come with a $40 off voucher that will allow you to take $40 off of any fragrance of your choice. So what's great about that is I am certain that you will fall madly in love with at least one fragrance from the set, if not half. Most people that I've given this discovery set, they want to own bottles of at least half of the fragrances from the line. Bare minimum, no question. And so what's great is you basically get the discovery set for free, because once you buy the discovery set, you can cash in the same value amount in a voucher, and their fragrances run typically around $155. So $45 off of that, you get your bottle for $115. Now, for those of you who would say, yeah, but the bottles are 50 ml. Most of the fragrances are extrait and some are eau de parfum, but nonetheless, they all have incredible performance. So no matter what, 50 ml will feel like 100 ml because you will use a lot less juice to accomplish the same performance as many fragrances. Now, top notes of this fragrance are juniper, cactus blossom, nutmeg, and bergamot. Again, I'm reading the note breakdown from their website because it is not available on Fragrantica yet. Heart notes, papyrus, green tea, desert rain accord. This is a phantom accord. It's where they basically try to create an imitation of what that scent profile might smell like. So you could probably have a couple of different rain accords from different perfumers, and they're all made a different way. And that can also work with, you kind of have these base compositions of what bergamot and geranium and fruits and citrus and all that stuff would smell like. But then perfumers can go the extra mile and actually create what I call phantom accords. And the desert rain accord is that petrichor accord, which is actually quite popular in Europe and the Middle East. The petrichor accord, many people have made it and made variations of it, and Michael has made his own spin on the petrichor accord, which is, petrichor is the smell of rain, which can be somewhat subjective, but that's okay. And lastly, sage. Now, in the base, you have sandalwood, olibanum, leather, and dry woods. Now, I would say sandalwood is very faint. For those of you who might not favor sandalwood, you don't have to worry about that. It does not stick its head out. I get a lot of juniper, cactus blossom, bergamot, papyrus, green tea, obviously the petrichor accord, the sage, the olibanum, dry woods, and the leather aspect of it is also extremely faint. It just provides a bit of solid, mature backbone, though I think this fragrance literally is ageless, even in its maturity. Okay, so now, We've gone over just about everything, so let me cover some usual suspects here and we will get out of here. I don't want to make the review too long as we're already at 15 minutes. This fragrance is incredible. If it's sitting on your shelf, it will look amazing, but most importantly, you will want to wear it all the time, every day, any season, any reason, any gender. Men and women can both really enjoy this fragrance. My wife absolutely loves it on me. And again, I think you should go around the 8 to 10 sprays to truly spray and put the fragrance down and go about your day, and it will carry forever. Again, it does quiet down after about 6 to 8 hours, just a little bit, but I've smelled it on my hoodies and on my clothes the next day in most instances when I go there. I love this fragrance. It is the best release from the house to me personally, just from the versatility, the uniqueness of concept, all of that. And guys, if you've ever wanted to get your hands on a bottle of Perfumo, but you can't because it's expensive and discontinued, this is actually better than Perfumo to me. It's more modern. It's more ageless. It's got more uniqueness, but it has the Perfumo level nostalgia and fanciness, and everything in here is balanced so perfectly. It's not too much resinous. It's not too much rainy. It's not too much sweet. It's not too much citric. It is just a beautiful, sparkling blend that will remind you of a desert rain in the most beautiful way possible. In the same way that Roja made, what was it? He did a fragrance for the UK, a signature scent. I don't think it was Burlington. I think it was another one. But I do think this could be the signature fragrance for Arizona. This idea that we live in a desert and spraying this on is like getting a drop of desert rain. Arizonians love when it rains because it's always so dry and so hot all the time. So this is a savior to that. And it has that type of bravado, prestige, and fits that appetite. It is such a great fragrance, guys. I do think it is blind buy worthy. But if you are hesitant in any way possible, you can get the Discovery set. As Michael mentioned, all future releases will have Desert Rain as well as Royal Reflection being added to the Discovery set. The price may go up for the set, I'm not sure, but you always get that voucher to then spin the block and get the same value you paid for the Discovery set off of a fragrance. Michael loves when you guys try the fragrances from the house because he wants you to be absolutely certain that the bottle you buy, you are already in love with before you even open it. And yes, every time you open a Day 3 fragrance, it is awesome. I personally carry multiple Discovery sets, so I'm very familiar with the line. And in bottles so far, I have, I almost said Escondilo. I have Escondalo, I have Bonnie, I have Desert Rain, and I have Tres Oros. And thankfully, I was probably the first person to get a bottle from the boutique. Therefore, my bottle is signed. So, shout outs to Michael, shout outs to his lovely wife, shout outs to Day 3 Fragrances for just being an incredible gem. I feel very privileged to have this house so close to me and to be able to talk to Michael a lot about his fragrances and the energy that goes into them. And as on my other video, I've said this fragrance house is not hard to talk highly of because there is no box unchecked. Price, performance, presentation, and thoughtfulness and creativity and all of that, aesthetic, they always are trying to outdo themselves with every release, and they will not force themselves to release anything to their collection because it must make sense and it must do something to the collection that is not already there. Guys, get your nose on Desert Rain, the collaboration between Day 3 Fragrances and Colton Dixon, and trust me, this easily, and I mean easily, will become a memoir, and it is also a
perfect.
$11 out of 10. masterful fragrance, guys. And I will be doing my memoir a few months from now once I've really just soaked it in. But I've never been so sure of a fragrance that is perfection and will be a memoir ever. So, guys, get your nose on it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And again, until next time, you guys have a blessed week.